So Tech and Tag how did we get from Tech and Tag tournament to bowling?
I was about to get there. I was about to land.
Let's roll.
Let me land.
Let's do this.
Let me land the plane. Let me land the plane. So, I used to be a technician at a bowling alley. If any of you guys remember Super Bowl or Mega Bowl, or actually, do you know what they were owned by? They were owned by.
Were they owned by Hollywood Bowl?
No, they were owned by Luminar Leisure in the beginning.
Oh.
Yeah, they were owned by those bad boys. And then they got bought out, whatever. But anyways, now I used to fix the lanes and all that kind of stuff. I'm actually quite decent at bowling. If anybody remembers, about 10 years ago, we did 30-bird bowling, and I was part of the Rince's team, and I got the highest score in the Rince's team. And we also won the whole bowling thing as well.
I fully need to check this. I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, I'm sure the rest of the team remember this.
Yeah, it's me, Scratcher, Roscar. I can't remember who the fourth person was on our team. But yeah, it was 30-bird bowling at Woolwich House. Anyway, I digress. So basically, what did I do? So yeah, I'm a technician. So also, I used to have the keys for the arcade machines, just in case someone got the coin stuck in there or anything like that. And of course, I could give myself free games on Tekken Tag Tournament. So I'm actually half decent on Tekken Tag Tournament, the arcade edition, because of it. That was literally how I spent my shifts, either bowling or playing Tekken Tag.
I mean, to be fair, that sounds like a fucking great job.
Hey, to this day, I've had two, bar what I do now, obviously, which is awesome, it's a dream. Two other jobs which I was absolutely a dream. That was one of them. That was like, I'd watch Family Guy, get my feet up. Yeah, on a really bad night, I'll just take the lanes out and be like, look, you're down to freaking, I don't know, 20 lanes or 12 lanes, whatever the hell it is. Obviously, I'd bowl, I'd give my friends free games, I'd give my friends free arcade games. Yeah, that job was really good. And obviously working at car, I used to work in car as well, in both of the ones in Covent Garden, so Neil Street and Earl Street.
Yeah, so essentially your first job at the bowling alley, you were sort of paid to be a 15-year-old kid. Like, play Tekken, go bowling, just fucking hang around and talk shit. Like, fucking
yeah,
brilliant.
I had to work my way up to that though. I'm not gonna pretend like it was straight in.
They didn't give you keys to Tech and Tag tournament on day one.
No, this was not straight away. The day one.
Hang on, you worked your way up. Did you have to like beat the person who was winning first?
Yeah.
Was it just winner stays on?
Initially, he was only allowed to play Time Crisis, but once he completed that, they gave him the keys to Tekken.
Mate, Time Crisis was there too. This
I know, mate. All the Namco used to sell the machines in bulk, so you'd have that Ridge Racer, Tekken Tag, and Time Crisis in a block.
Yeah, it was awesome. But what I did do first and foremost when I was there, I was basically just cleaning the lanes. So when people finished bowling, I'd have to go and just pick up their crap.
Don't they have a machine that does that? Oh, you mean like clean up like empty glasses and shit?
Actually, clean up empty glasses, packets, whatever was going on the lane after whoever's finished. Yeah, that's all I used to do. And on the weekends, this was horrible, by the way. On the weekends, I used to have to do birthday parties for kids.
Oh God, no, that is literally the worst.
Yeah, so I done my time. I think I done my time.
Yeah, done time in the trenches.
Yeah, in the trenches. Then I worked in the bar.
In the alleys, in the lanes.
Yeah, then I graduated to, and I done the technician thing. I done for years, all throughout uni. Like, I done it for years. Like, I was not letting go of that one.
So what is the technician like? How did you get trained on that? When did they just be like, actually, this kid knows his shit. Let's train him on the bowling, on the techers of bowling.
Nah, it wasn't. It was so far. So this is where DJing comes into really handy in life, right? So I worked at a bowling alley in Harrow, in North Harrow as it goes, and basically that's where I was working in the bar and whatever. But there was a guy who used to come and DJ on Fridays and Saturday night, you know, like standard. Oh, you're like,
yeah,
put the bubbly if you hit the red pin in the middle, whatever. That guy, and he was the head technician at another bowling alley in Park Royal. So what happened is he was there every week, whatever, and there was two different types. There was, I think they were called Brunswick machines. So basically it was two different types. One basically was based on like cogs, like working with cogs and stuff like that. Which was like the old school fashion one where the arm would just move around and it would pop the pins down like that. And then the other one was based on basically it was like electrical and digital, right? they were AMF machines. So I started off with the cogs one, like kind of just helping out at the bone, but it was kind of like obvious what would be wrong, like because it was
Yeah, right. Old school
basically
like cog
mechanic.
mechanisms. You can literally see
Yeah,
the bit
yeah,
that isn't doing its thing
doing his
properly.
thing. Yeah, and you'd go in to do it. But then basically he lost the guy because I was DJing and I got him on. I actually got him on Freeze FM. I was on Freeze FM at the time, and he wanted to DJ. He loved garage as well, so I got him a show on Freeze FM as well. Buddied up in that respect, and we're still friends, but whatever, we're cool. And then he was basically there was a time when basically he all his staff kind of like just walked out. It was just him and one other person working at the phone alley in Park, and he just gave me a shout and was like, "Oh, do you want a job being a technician?" It was like the golden job at the bowling alleys, anyways. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm down." So my training was like baptism by fire. Like I literally just went in there, and the good thing was, obviously I had the basic knowledge, but the good thing was there was like because it was kind of electrical, whatever. It had like codes, so it had like fault codes. So you'd
Right,
basically
right,
just
right.
look at the fault code and go and like check to see what it was and da 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 da. And I was meant to go off and do training and all of it. I never ever done it. Like I literally just was on the job, just baptism by fire kind of thing. And yeah, basically from my DJing, that's why me and him had the connection. Why he wanted me to go and do the job.
Mate, DJing
You know?
literally opens so many doors just by like everyone does something else on the side. So there's just a million other
Literally.
avenues.
And
There's all.
and on top of that, Invasion was out at the time, so he, you know,
Oh, really? So
like
you had a bit of rep. You had a bit of rep.
I had a bit of rep, I had some shout as well. Like it was like, although I was not up there in the bowling alley in terms of outside of the bowling alley, he was like, he's going somewhere. He's yeah. Jason Brook, big up Jason Brook, absolute legend.
Nice.
There's a whole other. Have you ever seen that Marvel series What If, where they do like alternate timelines?
Nah,
So there's like a series they do basically when they run out of an idea, they just spin off a shit one where it's like a Wolverine's a woman and they just go do another thing. But
all right.
there's a whole what if where like on your first day on the job you just lose your hands in a bowling machine and can never DJ again. And like you're the first there's a whole other timeline that could have spun off
Yeah,
this thing.
mate. Oh man, like multiple times my life could have been something absolutely completely different.
But it's good though. If
Yeah.
we ever want to do like a charity bowling event, Purple City now has a ringer. We can bring in a pro and be like, yeah, we're just bringing the artists in. It's just the
Yeah.
labels. We can bet heavy on ourselves behind the scenes
Yeah.
and just
Oh
absolutely
man.
smoke it.
Yeah,
I,
this is the funny thing about that dirty bed bowling. I was like to them, I'm actually all right. I was saying to them, I'm actually all right at bowling. Like, trying to, but I'm saying it. Do you know what? I know Americans take bowling very seriously. So
yeah, it's big out
where it
there,
was
isn't
like
it? Like,
big out there, I was like, all right, let me not talk myself up too
yeah.
hard because these guys are American. You know, they could have been bowling for forever.
Did you and
But
Roscoe and Scratcher and that get your own shirts done? Did you get the custom bowling shirts done
Yeah.
and stuff?
Did you bring your own ball and stuff?
Yeah, yeah,
get the glove on and everything.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. Oh my god. What's that movie? You'll know it. Like that
The Big
movie where
Lebowski or Kingpin.
Kingpin. I think it's
Yeah,
Kingpin. I think the one I'm talking
With
about.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Bill
Yeah,
Murray. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Oh,
phenomenal film.
hilarious. Yeah.
Are
Mm.
Roscoe and Scratcher any good at bowling?
Yeah, they're all right.
Speaking as a professional, they're fine. I
Well,
mean,
All right. All right.
I mean, the next feature we're going to have to do is just get all three of them down for a tournament.
I feel like Purple City Bowling is the next event that we're going to do now. This is fully happening.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who the fourth person was. To be fair, like I can't. I say Scratcher. I hope I'm right that it was Scratcher as well because I hope I'm not just like
I mean,
trashing
if it's Rinse FM, is the fourth person not just always Sam Supplier?
He was on the station at the time.
Oh, okay,
He weren't there.
interesting.
This is pre Sam Supplier.
So
This is
who was
pre
on? Who else was there? Was the Dirty Bird, Rinse? Was that just those guys, or were
Dirty
there?
Bird, Rinse, Naked, which was basically Breach's record
Yeah,
label,
Yeah.
yeah.
which was like Ben West Beach, Dusky. I can't. It might have been Midland. Someone else, and there was another team as well. There was another team there. I can't remember who it was. Man, my memory's rusty. But yeah, I'm like Dirty Bird was Dustin, Forward Stroke. else is there as well?
Mate,
There's a lot of
it's
DJs.
such a great concept. I can't believe I didn't clock it at the time. Like that
Yeah,
sounds
it was.
that sounds like it was actually a bit early. Like if that was done 5 years later, that would be like social media gold. You
Yeah,
just churn
yeah,
that
we was
crap out forever. Like
pre-Instagram. It actually was pre-Instagram. That's the funny part about it. It was
yeah,
pre-Instagram.
right,
So
right. So no one knew it happened.
it didn't happen. If it wasn't on Instagram, it didn't
Yeah, yeah.
happen. Yeah,
Not even a thing if it's not on TikTok. Uh,
yeah.
what you need for
Which
that is you need one like absolutely batshit crew, like just some mad label that's just full of absolute wreckheads. You
Purple
need like
City.
yeah, basically yeah, we should have just been the fourth team.
You're just like describing your own record label here,
Yeah.
like
Mate,
basically you need us.
we'd have
You
been
need
all
us.
over it. We'd have just
You need
turned
us.
up. We'd have just like a professional bowler wearing like a Jabru t-shirt and be like, yeah, this is Jabru. He's here to do some bowling whilst we drink the bar dry.
Oh mate, yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, dope, dope. Like
Right,
I
yeah.
think it would be. You know what? That would be an amazing concept. Like this is the thing of thinking of cool things to do outside of like they done. You know what? Dirty Bird did that really well back then. Just thinking of cool things to do outside of just being in the club.
Well, all like the Dirty Bird barbecues and stuff as well.
Yeah, they were
Like
great.
they've got
Yeah,
such a strong like their brand and their label feels like you're part of it. Like you feel like you're that like part of the extended group sort of thing. It's such a good like it's awesome really, and it's always a laugh. Their stuff is always fun. Like their music
yeah,
is kind of like everything they do fits that same vibe of like it's that it doesn't need to be big or clever. It's just great fun. Like
very true. Very, very, very true. And that's something. Yeah, like us Brits in it, we take ourselves like ultra serious. Like we're
yeah, imagine if like
all that fun.
Ramp Recordings bowling, or like
This is something that should have happened back in the day. Like,
I'd be well up like just proper nerdy techno labels, and you just force them to go and do like Takeshi's Castle, like
yeah,
that's what you want, like
like basically like getting like okay, burial. You don't want to be too social media or whatever, but come and bowl with us
yeah, or
on a
just like
Thursday
yeah,
night. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
But it's like you won't do a DJ set, but do you want to do, a bit of bowling?
yeah,
bowling, yeah. Like, well, do you know what I mean? Like,
just
what do you do? What do you like? Let's do that. Let's go. I don't know. Let's do an art class or something. You know what I mean?
Let's just
just
go to
stick.
the fun. Let's jump on the dodgems for a bit.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think it should be the opposite. I think you should find out what the artist likes and then make them do the other thing. So like Burial has to go on an episode of Noel's House Party, and he's like just trying to do night bus music whilst Mr. Blobby crashes through the walls and throws pies at him. Like that's how you need to do it. You need you need the viral element of just people doing shit they don't want to do, basically.
So basically, you're basically saying that you wanted him to go back into a hole and never ever come out again.
No,
Like,
not at
that's
all. Well, I mean, if it means we get more albums out of him, maybe we just need to,
it.
for the good of the
Touching
culture,
along.
for the
Yeah.
good of the
For the
culture,
theme, yes.
we're gonna have to send Mr. Blobby in.
Like,
Anyway,
oh,
on a more
yes.
focused note, let's chat about your album.
Yeah. So
So I've got I
Um,
was trying to work this out because I put down a rough not a set of questions, talking points. And I couldn't the initial one was how did we actually meet? Was it at Jabru's 40th in
I was gonna say Jabber's.
Exeter? Was it there?
but I don't. Do you know what? I feel like I'd met you guys before. This
Because
is the thing.
I thought that's what I thought when I saw you there. I'm sure I met you somewhere along the way at like Rinsey stuff or festival festival stuff before
That
then.
too, because I kind of thought would it have been, like either one of those sort of festivals that maybe we used to run in Found Festival or something like that, or maybe like through maybe through like the Subsoul days or something like that, because they used to put on a couple of events, and maybe I don't know though.
So this is the funny thing. All right, we can Jabru's 40th. We can just call it that because that's the one that we can all remember. But like I said, no way I was talking to you like the way I was talking to you like at Jabru's 40th. If I probably didn't, although I'm nice, but it felt like I knew you lot already. Like, so it was like,
yeah, that's what I mean.
it was like, oh, like how you doing? Whatever. Oh,
because I kept saying I was going to book you in Great Yarmouth. That was like the running joke that started there, wasn't it?
Still gonna happen, by the way. Still gonna happen.
Yeah. It's now there's
Yeah.
actually a club open, so it's genuinely more achievable now. There's a place you can legit get booked.
And mate, I was well up for it then, and I'm well up for it now.
But that was because again, I don't feel like, because I remember we were chatting and that, and I don't remember like it being like, hello, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, there was no intro, like there was none of that. It was like, oh, you. But you know what? As well, I guess I was very familiar with you guys because of the label as well in that respect. So I knew exactly what you guys. Well, I knew what you did on the label front, and obviously I respected what you guys did on the label front. And I guess Jabru's album was out at the time.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Before
that
you-
didn't. Well, yeah, it was. It
The-
came out. It came out the same year because that was 2019. So that was the year it
Yeah.
came out. It was it came out in March that year.
All right. So yeah, so kind of for me, it was like, all right, Jabru's album. I really like Jabru's album, and I really like Jabru as an artist. Obviously, I've released his music myself as well, and you know, what I mean, he's just a Donny. Like, so for me, I was like, okay, well, these were all like minded because, yeah, like I said, Jabru's a guy. So if anybody's gonna put his music out, I'm like, yeah, you guys are legit.
And it's funny because if you meet us outside of, well, I mean, even if you meet us in a work context, we're not that professional at all. Like there's absolutely there's absolutely no indication when you meet us that we know what we're doing.
Let me give you guys a joke, right? If I'm gonna talk about you guys as Purple City for a second before the album. Like, if there's one thing you guys have probably been the most professional. No. There's no oh. There's no oh. You guys have been the most professional independent record label that I've worked with in terms of like communication. So, like for me, if that's a big thing for artists, right? That's a big thing. It's communication. Obviously, it's super key. Of course, it maybe you don't communicate in your day jobs, but in this situation, you don't clearly communicate, and I obviously I appreciate it, but also that makes for a much easier process of like creating extra music and doing what you need to do as an artist and so on and so forth. So that's I was gonna say, although you're trying to give the cowboy situation there, I'm like, nah, you got it sussed a bit there on that front. You know what I mean? There's a clear line of communication because yeah, I'm terrible. I'm worse than you got. Like I can tell you that for nothing. If like any artist that's released something on my label, they'll know there's because I'm an artist as well though. I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay like that. I think I'll get away with it.
I'm telling you, it's okay. Yeah.
That's the social media clip right there. We can probably just end this. Let's let's end on a high. Let's just.
Yeah.
So because then the album, because I couldn't remember. This basically sums up our age and how long we've been doing this in the industry. I couldn't remember how we met, and I couldn't really remember how the album came about. So like,
I mean, to be like, I didn't really have an idea that I was gonna do an album or anything like that. Of course, this has just come out of me sending you that music. But I do remember, like, just in my head, I remember just thinking, okay, I would like to do something with you guys because what you did with Jabru was really, again, that's just going by what I saw from what you did with Jabru and how cool it was. The For Fuck's Sake Wido like track as well, and it's just kind of cooler connections that you guys built that just aren't based on like in the music industry bullshit that we kind of like normally go through to try and jump through hoops to get music signed or get people to kind of like be on board or be behind what you're trying to create. So I was like, yeah, these are cool people. Clearly, you're down to press up vinyl, which is always good as well. And also the artwork, because I checked the etch thing out as well, and I was like, oh my god, like this artwork is the branding is just so sick. Like I really enjoyed the branding. Clearly, of course, I've loved the purple tones as well. Yeah, it was just that. But so that was 2019 when we met because that was the end of 2019. I remember that.
Yeah, it was literally New Year's Eve, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah, because his birthday's New Year's Day, isn't it? So
yeah, which is really, really awkward, I'd like to point out. It's an annoying day to be born.
Yeah.
Textbook Jabru. Pick the worst day to be born.
Yeah, New Year's Eve. Oh man. Yeah, that was crazy. So yeah, so basically we just before everything hit the fan.
That's right. Because you were posting. It might have been due. In fact, I think it was as all the shit hit the fan. Because you were posting like tunes from that kind of. I'm loath to call it the post dubstep era, but it was like when everyone was making kind of garagey, shuffly stuff again, but it was like really bassy.
Mm,
And you were putting them up on Insta, and I like messaged you about it, making some crappy jokes about the summer of MCAT and stuff.
yeah, had
And
a
then
number.
yeah, that's what it was. No, I've just remembered. And then you were like, "Oh yeah, no, I've got like a hard drive of this stuff." And I was just like, "Send me the hard drive. Send me it now." And that had Love All You Squares on it. A track called String Theory or String Line.
String line, yeah,
And
string
then
line.
I think She Loves was on there too. One of the breaksy bits, the jungly bits was on there. And you were like, "Oh man, I've got loads of this stuff, and it's like I just don't really, know anywhere to put it." And I was like, "I do. I've got a place." And then you
We
sent me
do.
you sent me a couple more, and I sent them to Ash, and we were just like, all of this bangs. And then it got to like I think we had like 4 tracks or 5. And then when I looked at like the price of pressing an EP up, it's the same as pressing an album at that point. Like, and then it was just like, fuck it, it's an album now, isn't it? Really, let's just roll with
I
this.
think I think you talked it up to like, oh, there's now 7 tracks that you really like, and I'm like, you got 7 tracks, you might as well just call it an album, right? And you're like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. No, we can't call it an album. No, no, no. It's too much pressure on him. No, we can't call it an album. I was like, yeah, but it is an album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I was gonna say that there's been an opportunity to have no pressure on something,
Yeah.
this is like this. There is literally like the one thing that there hasn't been around this for me is pressure. And I think in 2020, what was that 2021? That must have been 2021 because that was the time when 2020 we must have been going. I must have been sending you music
Yeah,
like
I
pandemic
think
coming out.
yeah, it would have been. It was definitely during. It was between the two lockdowns. Um, because then it was like the reason we got chatting after that was you put up that photo and you were literally like stood outside my beach hut because you'd taken a
Yeah,
day out to the seaside, and it just so happened that you stood in front of my beach hut and took a photo. And I was like, hang on, T's like round the corner.
that's hilarious because yeah, that was February 20. That was March 2021.
There you
That was
go.
March
Right.
2021.
Yeah, so
I
that was
remember it.
that was when it kicked off properly and you sent over that batch of stuff.
Yeah, March 2021. Crazy. Doesn't feel like,
No, I was
yeah,
gonna say,
that
thinking about it now, we probably should be further along. What have we been doing?
well, it doesn't feel like a long time ago, but now I'm saying it,
Nah,
March
yeah,
2021, that's 2 years ago. Like, no, we're
yeah,
good. We're good. You know, you got one release off the chest in 2023, you know,
we're rolling.
March 2021. Mind you, I went away as well. I was in Canada, like loads in between,
Yeah.
like as well. Yeah, you know what I mean? All said. No, we're doing, you know, we're old men. You got the pork shoulder in the oven, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? The rest
that's
of
true.
it.
Yeah,
So
that's got to go back in half hour.
yeah. So yeah. But ultimately, you know what? I'd say this is the album or the vibe that I've always wanted to do. Like literally, like it's just everything that everything. If you want to post dubstep, whatever, do you know what I mean? Just everything that like I've lived through in my dance music, yeah, just my dance music journey. Jungle, garage, grime, house, whatever, you know what I mean? You name it, there's a bit of everything in these tracks in this album. And yeah, like, but finding the right place that would have, and funky. Sorry, let's not forget
Yeah.
funky in
Oh
there.
yeah,
Never
Let's
forget
not forget.
Funky.
and the funky tune's
No,
like one of the biggest ones on it for me. Like,
yeah, UK funky. Let's not
huge.
forget that. Yeah. So I like to. Yeah, it's just one of those. It's one of those things where I've always wanted to do something like this. No label has really. No label's been mad enough to do
Mm.
it. Basically,
So you can
basically,
call
everyone
you
thinks.
can you can call us stupid. You don't have to use a euphemism like mad.
No, but
Yeah, it is.
I love the entire concept of it though. Like I love that, you know, these are for you, like for you, it's a musical journey. But as a listener, a fan of rave music, of dance music, growing up in London especially as well, like it feels like a journey for me as well. It feels like these are all the connective paths of my upbringing, my growing up, my listening to music from, you know, age of 5 through to 35, you know, and it's like, yeah, this I get I get the line that this is running the entire way. But what's more is that, like, you know, you've got your spin on it. Every track has that T.Williams spin. It's like, you know, it's identifiably your album, and it's that full kind of journey that I and a lot of listeners can truly understand.
Well, this is what I hope for, because I'm honestly, when you talk about obviously marketing, right, and you talk about what people would tell you in the industry, they'd always be like, pick a side, pick a
Mm.
bloody side. Oh, do you do tech house? All right, go down that road. Do you do UK funky? Okay, just ham that home. Do you do jungle? Ham that home. Do you do grime? Ham that, like, literally stick in one lane. And probably now I'm like, well, who out there listens to one genre? Like, genuinely, like, who just, and then then the other side of it is, if all my creative friends, like, who out there only makes, like, literally makes, like, just one genre, that's all they've ever done, all they've ever made. And for anyone that I know, the answer is, you're really not that boxed in. You're never ever that boxed in life. Like, you're just not. Like, you're always going to be listening to other things, doing other things, like, you know, variety is the spice of life, and all the rest of that talk, until you get into a lane of kind of like trying to market the product that you're trying to present to the world. Now, like, I've always felt like my art being that, and who I am, you know, and the reason why I'm here as T.Williams, like, crazy to say, the main reason why I started the T.Williams thing is because I got boxed in grime. Can you imagine that? And that's a free genre. Like, that's a genre where you
Mm.
would have felt like everyone was free. I felt like we got to a point where it was like basically making music for MCs, and it felt so simple but so boxed in that that's what you had to do to sell records or not sell records, whatever it was that you was, you know, downloads or whatever the hell it was. And I was like, you know what, this doesn't feel free anymore. So ended up going to house music and broken beat because of that fact. Now, got into house music, broken beat, and then lineage went on to 2010 when we spoke about the post dubstep thing. And now you're at a point where, you know, like Hype Mungo, um, Joy Orbison,
Mhm.
Distant Sound, Moscar, you know, Bashmore, all these characters that were coming through, and everybody was so free. You didn't know what you was going to get next from these people. So now I'm kind of at a point where, like, of course, yeah, everyone knows T.Williams makes house music, whatever, great, fantastic. I love it. I do love house music, you know, truly, like, at the core. Um, but I can't look back at my heritage and my vinyl collection and not, you know, pay homage to all the grime that I've got, all the jungle that I've got, you know, all the garage that I've got, you know, all the UK funky that I've got, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. And not be influenced by those things. And sometimes it's not enough to just be influenced by it via yeah, it's not enough to just be influenced by it by adding a little spicy flavor to house, a little bit funky to house, a little bit.
Mm.
Sometimes you need to just get it off your chest and kind of like go the whole ham line and do the thing, you know. And some people would say that doesn't need to be presented to the world, or some people would say maybe you should start an alias or whatever. And I'm like, nah, I'm a multifaceted person, a multifaceted human being. I enjoy different things, and this is just me presenting the art that I create. Simple. So yeah, this is what this album is. Really, it really signifies. Obviously, of course, we've got the concept behind the album and the whole story about, you know, Raves of Future Past and all the rest of it. But it really signifies me presenting um all my tastes in one kind of like digestible package. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think, like, for me as a consumer as well, because we had basically a similar chat with Jabru, like, because it's that thing of like, you could make a house album, like you could make an album of like 10 house tunes or however many tracks you decide an album is, but it's kind of like, not that that's not valid, but like, you make loads of house anyway, and there's loads of EPs of house music, and if you just put 10 of them together, is that an album? Like, or is that just a bunch of house tunes slammed together into one big folder? And I always think with an album, it's kind of like, you can make it all one genre, but I kind of feel like that can just sound like a collection of singles, because it doesn't really like from track 1 to 10, say, if it's all house, do you really learn much about the artist throughout those 10 tracks beyond they're a big fan of house and they make really good house? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I no, this is the thing. Like ultimately, I've struggled throughout my whole career. To be fair, it's gone in waves, right? You know, so if I go back to when I started, and I'm like, obviously, I was trying to make garage when I made grime, right? So happy accident or whatever, you know what I mean? Um, you're just trying to kind of figure out how you can present your version of the thing that you love, right? Or your creative version of the thing that you love. So I still felt like Invasion and all these songs, I know they're grime now, you know, I still felt like they were garage. That's just what I was doing. I had the term grime hadn't come around yet. It felt so free. So if you look, if anybody wants to bother to do so, like if you look back at those times, there was a lot of songs that I made that, like, you know, I might make an R&B edit, or I might make something that now you could probably categorize as maybe funky or broken beat, and it would be a part of like that same thing. Some of them were journeys, some of them were just like, you know, 16 bars back and forth kind of thing, whatever. But when it got to a point where I felt really boxed in, and it started to feel like it was, you know, this is what it is. That's when I was done. That's when I was like, oh, like, I'm out of it, kind of thing. So the same thing goes. If I was going to go for house music, like probably maybe 2010 would have been a time to make a house album, because I probably would have felt free, because no one would have been paying attention to me for a house album. So probably that would have been a time for me to be like, okay, cool, I'm going to make a house album, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. And then probably the creative or the artistic expression would have been much more pure in itself, less thinking about the commercial side of it, and how this is going to be monetized and all the rest of it, just thinking about what I want to do in the studio. Whereas now, like, I could see that, yeah, like you said, putting together a bunch of house tracks, yeah, I just couldn't say, I mean, I could do that, right? I could literally send you 8 right now. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
yeah, but I wouldn't
let's bang them out quickly whilst we're waiting for the final to get done. we got time.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, but yeah, I mean, you know, but saying that, you know, that house album will probably want to come full circle again sometime. But you know, it's a matter of you're in that creative freedom, that creative space to make this now and make it as something that works as a fluid chapter. And you know, maybe you'll have a house album that, you know, had that ebbs and flows as it needs to when you're ready to do that. But you know, this is you know, that freedom that you've got is what's there right now.
Yeah. And this had to get done. Honestly, like, after, I mean, yeah, not to, yeah, we down on vibes, whatever, like, but like after the pandemic, and just that thing of probably holding back. I've probably held this back since probably like 2008, 2009, I would say. And certain times it would be like, oh no, too much breaks, or oh no, like too kind of like funky, or oh no, like too da 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 da. And I'm just like, I shouldn't really think that people aren't ready for or wouldn't appreciate, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, because again, like, we're all kind of people that listen to different genres. We all, like, at this point, you know, if we're talking about the younger generation, they really aren't boxed in. Like they're really, like, you know, across the board. And things that we probably, I mean, I probably never would have thought, you know, kind of getting into the like happy hardcore territory and all that kind of stuff that in our day, like, you know, I mean, you would have literally looked at you and be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Now we're here. You know what I mean? So it just, things always run in cycles, right? And I'm just saying that, like, for me, whether it's maybe the right moment or not, it's just a matter of making that artistic expression and taking it and getting it off your chest. And this is what this album is about. It's about kind of like looking at it from, it's gonna stay there forever. It's gonna be online forever, you know. And for those that understand, this is for you, you know. And for those that don't, you know, there's lots of house music as well.
Yeah, there is literally house every weekend, to use a popular phrase. Like, you'll
Literally.
be fine.
Yeah, you'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's been nice as well from our end, like going through the tunes, and like when you've been sending us stuff. I don't think we've sent any feedback. Like, basically everything you've sent has just been bang on. Like, there's been, I think the only thing the only bit of feedback I remember sending was when you sent the first version of Jammy. I think I responded with, "Can you make this more ridiculous?"
Yes.
So you did. You just went and put some more mad shit in it, and I was like, "Yeah, job's a good one." Like, no further questions. Like,
Yeah, I think the other feedback was the track what's working title at the time was Cherry Coke. And then you said
yeah,
that's a typo, it's meant to be Cherry Coke. We're like, no, don't change it. It's
Don't
Cherry
change
Coke.
it.
it's now Cherry Coke.
Cherry Coke. Oh my god.
Big
Yeah.
tune.
Big tune. Big tune. Yeah, so much of that. Yeah, I just really love the way this has all come together, and I'm really, 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 really happy with the just knowing that I'm like it's a big, big, big thing to unblock that tier of getting music out. Do you know what? I'll tell you something. Someone said, actually it was Forte who said to me, like, he was like, just do it. Just do it. Like it doesn't matter. Like none of this, like, if you're doing it already and you're making it, like just get it out there. Get on with it kind of thing. Like, and I
Mm,
was like, I was like kind of like, "Oh, really? Like we really can just do things ever. And but when things have always gone right is when you just do things. And this is what this feels like. It feels very like we're just doing it, getting it
mm.
done. Um, and yeah, think less, think less, get it done.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
that's how we approach. Like, because we kind of, I wouldn't say we approach our record label with a sense of nihilism, but like we have day jobs, like we have careers outside of this. So like this is because we love it, and it's like there's no point us doing stuff that we're not excited about and isn't really good fun. Like because we kind of have an unwritten rule that we only really work with our friends. Like we don't. That's why we don't have many artists. Like everyone we work with, we know them already, and we
yeah,
know that they'll be fun to spend. Like because we have to talk every other day, and we're in group chat sharing stuff, and it's like if you're not on board with that or you don't really click with us, it's not going to be a fun project for us either. And like we're in it to have fun as much as the artist, and to enable the artist. And it's that same thing of like from our end, any mute like I kind of have this theory, which may be incorrect, that like there's, like you said about like happy hardcore and things, there's so many niche genres out there that people are mad about. So it's like you can make anything. You just have to find those 200-300 people that are mad about that thing. It's not about like, it's just about finding that pocket and getting stuck in. And we're kind of the same with us. Like, we've done 80s album, Jabbery's album is like broken beaty all over the place. Etch does like breaksy jungle stuff, but there's grime and dubstep in it. Joshua does like jazz and spoken word. But it's like, and this album is quite interesting because it's like this kind of takes, for us, I was saying to Ash when we were talking about it recently, like when we look, when every time someone's asked us what does Purple City do, like what genre do you release, we're like, I don't fucking know. Like we can't really tell anyone because it could be anything. But like this album is kind of like the rave edition of everything we've done before. It has all elements of every one of those artists' history too, but it's just
yeah,
like a dance floor fueled version. Um, and actually, I noticed I was Joe Muggs, the critic, was talking to us, and he was like, "Yeah, he was talking to someone about the label when I was stood with him, and he was like, "Yeah, they do like this kind of really chilled electronic stuff," and I was like, "Our music's not chilled." And then I thought about it, and I was like, "Actually, it is all kind of low key." And in my head, I thought we made like rave bangers, and then I was
yeah.
like,
Well, I was gonna say that that's the thing about all of this is that when I was told to kind of like just do it, it's like obviously everyone's gonna make up their own opinion on your art or what you do or what you put out there, and marketing. Back to kind of like the marketing thing is that I guess music business 101 is kind of like you're trying to control the narrative of what people think of you. You're trying to trying to steer it into a direction where people yeah, and by doing so you're kind of, as an artist, you always, in that respect, you kind of suppress your creative expression as well at the same time, because of course, like, you when I'm creating music, 9 out of 10 times I'm not necessarily thinking about what I'm trying to say. I'm just thinking about what I'm feeling at that very specific point in time, so I just create, and it's creating out of a need rather than a want, like saying, okay, well, I want to do X, 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 or Y. Do you know what I mean? So I guess as a label, you guys are kind of like that free artistic expression. It's like you're not gonna probably know what you're doing, but everyone else is gonna make up their opinion on what you do at any whatever given point. And the story will change and be fluid because you'll put out different music, you know what I mean, over time. So hopefully with this album, it will be like, oh wow, oh, so they do that ravey style. They do that like more club focused
Yeah.
situation because they done that thing with T, like, and oh like you know what I mean? And if you do, you know what I mean? So but I love that because it just feels very free and like you're connected to that kind of less kind of music business. We want to. I mean, don't get me wrong, we all want to make, but like you said, everyone's got day jobs, so like
Yeah,
But you've
I
had,
mean, we do all the normal music industry box ticking things that you need to do, but what I always find, and maybe it's just me speaking, but it's when you get too entrenched in that, you start to lose the creativity a little bit, and something that I'd never want to do is lose the creativity. I see it get stifled from all aspects of whatever project's being worked, and it's like I don't ever want a project like this or anything else that comes out on our label to ever feel like it's stifled by it needs to do this thing, it needs to do that thing. It's like I want it to be free, and if it works for us and it works for the artist, then yeah, we want to do it. And that's also maybe credit to why we don't really release a lot of stuff, but the stuff that we do release, it's important to us and to the artists that release it as well.
yeah. So could you but you're not selling out to a major record label anytime soon?
I mean, if they give us the money, yes. Like, send us some offers. We have no shame and no fiber.
We promise not to before the album comes out.
Yeah.
But T, by the way, yeah, so you're gonna be talking to so and so at such and such and such label.
Yes, it's actually, I forgot to mention, it's actually coming out on McDonald's.
Mate, I don't see why that doesn't happen more often, man. Damn, like, could you imagine being invested in by like McDonald's? Yeah, you'd be.
I mean, that Justin Timberlake track, the I'm Loving It one, that did really well.
Didn't Starbucks do a Paul McCartney album?
Probably.
Yeah, it was only available in Starbucks stores, which obviously is inhibitive because when you're going for a latte, you're not like, oh, I will just drop 20 quid on an ex-Beatles fucking solo album. Like, so then it just appeared in real stores and they realized exclusivity wasn't a useful thing when you can only sell it in coffee shops.
Insane.
And Mountain Dew started a record label too.
Red Bull have a record label.
That's true. Yeah, but theirs was vaguely functional because they had an actual music arm.
They had AWOL Nation and that song "Sail," which carried it all the way to the bank. So
see, we need to like team up with like Frey Bentos Pies. We need to do we need to get a proper British brand behind us.
Yeah, we need to start a Pot Noodle record label.
Get Pot Noodle on the distro.
Oh mate.
Well, if the money's there, I'm here for it. That's my motto.
Crazy. Also, you've got Basement Tops behind you there.
I have. Oh yeah, I have. Hang on, 2 seconds.
I've got a copy around here as well. So yeah, mine's way out in the back. You can't really see it from here, but it is on the shelf. You can see that green book on the.
We've both got a copy. Got copies everywhere. Yeah, shout out Joe Muggs. He's been a big supporter of the label generally. Like Joe has always repped us. Like everything we do, he's there for it. He's on the wavelength.
Well, in that book, I basically talk about the reasons why I probably would have made this album anyways as well. It's right there on paper.
Yeah, I'll go back. Oh
wait, so we didn't have to do this podcast at all.
Yeah, right. We could have just done it. We could have just done a live reading. We could have just like.
He says, yeah, there he is. Like, yeah.
Does it have the bit about bowling in there as well, or is that?
No.
See, this is it. We get the real history. We get the gold. Like.
Yeah. Now, Joe caught me on a good day when we had that conversation about in that book. I was really like, fuck everything. You know you're doing shows,
Yeah,
I mean, you must have
yours
been
is
like,
yours is quite reactionary actually. It's quite good. I
yeah,
really rate it. Yeah, you were on a like a scorched earth policy that day.
yeah. I was in the zone. I was in the zone and just talking about, yeah, like the difficult, like because again, it was like the difficulty of like wanting, still wanting to be free and like, oh, like I said, nothing against like obviously big up like Jack Master, big up Ben UFO, big up all those characters that all came through at exactly the same time as me. Ben Jack Master being one of the first people to come down to London from Glasgow and Rubber Dub and just give us a distribution deal and all the rest of it and put out the records, Deep Technology records, early ones for myself, but or help us to put them out, should I say? Um, but yeah, it was just so frustrating at the time because it was like you're so limited, like because all of a sudden you're supposedly this house guy, or all of a
Mm,
sudden well you're either too housey for one thing, or you're too grind for the other. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like you was just caught between this rock and a hard place. But then, and people used to be so scared of me. Like I've got a mix that I did for Fat Magazine years ago. Like this is 2010, I think I did this mix, and it's just it literally is everything. It's jungle garage, grind, broken beat, dubstep. Um, yeah, it's all in there. But then after that mix, people were like, "Oh," and you just to my agent, like, can you just make sure that T doesn't play this or doesn't play that or whatever or whatever. And the funniest or the worst part about that stuff is like that's the thing. It's like so limiting to your creative expression. Now I'm not stupid. I'm not going to go to a house rave and play, you know, the deepest, darkest like dubstep track. Do you know what I mean? Like unless the crowd wants it, like, to be honest. But it's it's so limiting when other people got the opportunity to do so. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's the
and
part. Like,
And also there's that fear that a lot of agents have where like it's like, oh yeah, make sure you don't play any of the you read the crowd, you read the room, but at the same time if you're doing a house set, no one in that crowd's gonna be mad at you for chucking in a couple of funky tracks because that's part of your sound, that's part of how it works, and it will go down really well. And that's you reading the room and you reading the sound and putting your taste on that set. You know,
yeah,
it's a shame that that stuff like that's been said and actions.
yeah,
I
but
thought
but that's also part of this reason why this album's important is because it's the turning of the future rather than it like looking back to that,
Mm,
like it turning of like, well, now we don't do that. Now that's not how we operate. That's not how that shouldn't really dictate how I put out or what I put out, or you know what I mean, at the end of the day, if that's part of my journey. Because
mm,
again, Matt, just imagine, just sorry to cut you off, Matt. There,
no,
just
you did.
imagine if I was only just making house music and only releasing house music, full stop. That's it. Not that my house music is not good or vibey, whatever, but just imagine how limiting that must be for me as a human being to kind of like just only be doing that. You know what I mean? It's dead.
Yeah, that's literally like production line, factory work, but
Yeah,
just you're making something slightly more glamorous than standard factory nonsense. But it's the same process. But I don't know why anyone would want to do that. I find it fascinating artists that do literally, not that there's many, but there are some that just make one thing. And I'm like, what are you getting from this personally? Like, are you that into this thing? Like, or is it just work? And it's the same with the promoter thing though. Like, I find it fascinating when like this, you've been rolling 20 years as a professional DJ, and people are like, oh, can you make sure he doesn't play like drum and bass at this house event that we've booked only house acts for? And it's like, it is your fucking job. Like, you know what you're doing. Like, you don't really, when you get in a taxi, you don't go to the driver, can you make sure you don't drive on the pavement? Like, it's their fucking job. They know what they're doing. And I
yeah,
find it weird with DJs how, like, even that, like, if you don't really know an artist or they're brand new, maybe you can be a bit like, just keep it here or there. But when you're booking someone who's literally been successfully making tunes and touring for X amount of years, so do you really need to tell them, make sure you sort of pay attention to the room and what the crowd is doing? Like, it's kind of like, you might as well just tell them, make sure you bring headphones. Like,
yeah.
you
I'm
know,
like, oh, do you just want to play the mix from Jamie Jones instead of me
yeah,
turning up?
yeah.
That
You
would
just
work.
maybe
Do you
just
know
do
what I
the
mean? Or,
do the Paris Hilton. Just turn up with a
yeah,
pre just do turn up with a pre-record.
yeah, print like the pre-record. Or you know what? There's loads of
Hey,
essential
don't
mixes.
put shame on Paris Hilton's name.
Oh no, I respect it. I legit respect it because her fans, that's kind of what they want. They don't want
Yeah,
her to turn up and, it's again, some people
What?
go to a club to sort of have new music thrown at them, and some people just want to go to a club to hear the same hits off the charts. So if
One
that's your
second, guys.
lane, cool. Like,
Please, I'm gonna have to just. My friend was coming down here, so I'm just gonna have to chat to
all
her quickly
good.
and let her.
No worries,
One
man.
sec.
is that a Furby behind you as well?
Hell yeah, it is. It's the emotional
Oh,
support
of
Furby.
course, of course.
Absolutely. Can't go wrong. Look at him. Look at his little feed him. Slightly
Terence,
uncomfortable. I find the Furby feeding thing slightly uncomfortable.
Terence Trent Furby.
You like you have to wiggle your finger into its mouth and like press its tongue. It's really, I don't know.
Yeah, it's very weird.
I feel like just showing like 5-year-olds that is developmentally possibly damaging.
Yeah,
And it's got big dead eyes.
yeah,
Like I think I love Furbies, but I do think they look more evil than good.
they do. They do. They're quite terrifying. I'm
They
surprised
feel
because like people were quite scared of Gremlins when that film came out. I feel like
yeah,
the
no,
same
I'd be more
thing should
freaked
be
out.
said about Furbies.
I'd be more freaked out if that thing was reproducing in my kitchen.
Yeah,
Shit my pants. And even next to the slightly threatening Roddy McDowell bust, the
yeah,
Furby's
yeah.
the
Why is
Furby's
Furby
still the
more
most
scary than Roddy McDowell?
the Furby's still the most threatening thing in the setup.
Yeah. I got a photo memory thing on my telephone today. It was this post-it that you had on your wall that just said "Buy a shed."
Which I still haven't got round to doing. I
It said
legit,
"Buy a shed."
yeah, it was because I need to buy one. I literally need to buy a shed.
Oh,
That's
you pay attention to that note to that post-it.
my post-it notes are concise, if nothing else. Do you know the reason that's not been actioned actually? Because I
No,
redecorated the studio, I took all the post-it notes down. And I just can't remember where I put it.
honestly.
All right, guys.
I was just talking about buying it. Just talking about buying a shed.
Oh,
Or,
what the
or not
man
buying a
cave,
shed.
man cave vibe or not?
No, no, just to put like a lawnmower in and stuff.
Oh, an actual shed.
I just need one for utilitarian purposes. But if there's room, I will get a TV and a little lounge chair in the corner of it or something.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Um,
dartboard. Dartboard.
Where did you say this studio is, T? Is it like premises
Strong
or
room. Yeah,
oh,
yeah, strong room. It's strong
oh
room
nice.
in Shoreditch. Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
nice.
So yeah, I'm in the mix. MJ Cole's over there.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
downstairs.
nice.
Yes, it's vibey. This is like I'm taking this seriously. It's 2023. I'm back in
Great.
the game. I'm back in the game. I'm
Love
not
to
trying
see
to
it. Good.
muck around. So we're saying like obviously trying to do some more like actually like bigger sessions and some more ad
Mm.
production and all that kind of stuff as well. Just yeah, I'm just not trying to not
Do you,
trying. So yeah.
do you find creatively that helps too? Like the fact that your studio is away from your house? Because like I work in my studio is in my house, and it's like when you're having a bit of a tough one or some shit's going on, you're like, oh, I just go put the laundry on, or I just need to empty the dishwasher. And like I feel like if I had a studio elsewhere, it's like once you're there, you're in for the day, and you can't worry about what's going on at home. You just need to like, and you've only got limited time because you can't spend all day there. You got to travel back, so it's like, do you find it's more productive?
100%. I mean, I'm trying. I'm just trying to. That separation in itself gives it focus, right? So like, I just needed to, and also, do you know what? As well, being in the city, if I was somewhere, I could be anywhere. I could be in like an industrial state, like somewhere a little bit further out or whatever, and it just wouldn't feel like you're a part of the music industry. But like, I could step out here and see like a manager, like of someone that's like doing really well, like or another producer, an artist or whatever, and things just kind of like move along a little bit more because you're a part of the music industry, which is the only way we can as producers or artists can be a part of the music industry, be in spaces where the music industry is. So that's high. That's probably like on top of being creatively focused, like and being given that more focus. It's more like you're actually doing you're working. it means because I'm mucking around when I'm at home. I'm just literally I'm in my underpants and still just doing that. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, and I think people respect your time a little bit more as well because they come into a studio. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, they
even the
feel like they're on
creative
the
thing,
clock too.
yeah, they're on the clock too. Like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm fully. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what kind of music I'm gonna create over the next like 6 months or how it's gonna be, but yeah, I'm bringing bit by bit. I'm bringing more equipment down here as well, and it's just gonna be it's gonna be quite a thing. And also got the decks here as well, so
Oh,
can play
sick.
some music as well.
Because yeah, like production wise on the album, because you like again like tying the Raves of Future Past thing. Because you were like, I like how cause you were saying about the digitact you got during lockdown, and like obviously last time we were speaking, you were telling me about it was like the CD on the front of a music mag that had a break on it, and it was like you
Yeah,
then went. Yeah, talk me through this break digging thing again because this was fascinating, and I like how that fuses with like the new kit, like the Digitact, and
yeah. So it was crazy because obviously my whole life, literally since I was a kid, I was like, oh, like breaks, da 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 da. Da. But do you know what? I didn't know what breaks were when I was like 8 or 9 years old. Like I didn't actually know. So I thought when I first started listening to Jungle, I thought it was like actually being all played live and all the rest of it, and it was like weird. Like I was like, these people are amazing. They're still wizards for sure. But then um realized it was all about breaks, whatever. Obviously, the first break that I probably would have like known about would have been the Amen break, and I was like, cool. But like, obviously, considering I listened to a lot of Jungle growing up, of course, I knew of other breaks like the Think break or Sesame Street, like as breaks that were like ones that I held really dear to me. So the Think break is something that I really love. Like, so this is Lynn Collins' Think, the track where there's a drum break in there. For those of you that don't know, so anyone that wants the source as well. But throughout my whole time, I always thought that was the one, that was the break that I really loved that was being used in these jungle tracks. Turns out it wasn't. So fast forward to 2019. This is crazy, right? And basically I'm literally talking to a friend, and he's like a junglist, like almanac. He knows everything. He literally knows everything. Like, and there's a tune called Babylon. It's called jungle tune called Babylon, and I was like, this tune's amazing, like whatever, like. Do you know much about it? Kind of thing. He's like, oh yeah, I know a bit about this tune, whatever. I was like, what's that break? Because that think break is not the same think break that I've always been kind of listening to. He's like, do you know what? Don't worry. I'm gonna go away. I'll come back. I got you. So anyway, goes away, comes back. And anyway, there's this I think it's Computer Music, the magazine. And in the 90s, they basically had a CD that was on the cover of the magazine that was given away for free. But lots of like great like rave jungle hardcore music was made off of the breaks and the samples that were on the front of this CD. Like literally loads of songs. Like literally, there's so many. And he was like, "Look, this is where the break comes from. Now that break is basically a think break, which is basically taken from a Heavy D track that was on one of his albums called "Don't Scandalize Mine." So it's the original think break with an 808 programmed by the producer of that Heavy D track, which has been put on the front cover of the CD, which then got used in the track Babylon and a bunch of others over time. So it's been processed in a very specific way. It's got, like I said, it's got an 808 in it as well. It's amazing. Like literally, and that's the break that I was looking for. So literally, as soon as I got that break and put it into the Digitact, it was like creativity was just insane. It was just like, oh my god, this is it. This is exactly the one. This is the one I've been looking for my whole life. Like,
But
and I
that's
had to pick.
insane that that's like how that break itself has like gone through this strange, bizarre process to then be used like in in a whole array of like I'm just imagining all these different producers just finding that same CD like on the front of that magazine and just be like, yeah, that's the one. I finally found it.
Yeah,
Like just having that light bulb moment at different times in their life.
it's absolutely insane the journey. So it's like Lynn Collins think, then it's Heavy D and the Boys, Don't Scandalize Mine.
Mm.
Then it's a front cover, a free CD front cover of Computer Music magazine to Jungle and drum and bass DJs throughout the last 30 years. That's the process. Do you know what I mean?
I love as
Insane.
well that I love as well that just as this album project was kicking off, the only reason you found it is your mate happens to be like the truffle hunter of breaks music. Like
Literally, he's the guy. Like, anytime I've heard something on a tape pack or anything, like straight to him. Yo, what's this track? And he loves it because it's just a big challenge for him. He's like, if he doesn't actually, he's like, I'm doing my research. Like, I'm gonna I'm like, and then he's got a sick jungle collection. He's a dope guy. Like, yeah, he's got a sick jungle collection as well. Doesn't actually DJ like that, but he's just a
See,
I
I
love him.
massively respect that too. Like when you're just an absolute digger, but you're just not even asked about going and DJing with it or anything. It's just purely for your own satisfaction and your own world. Like,
Doesn't care about it at all. He's just it's just for him.
so is that break on the album then in places? Where's it used in?
Love Will You Squares, She Loves, uh You Will See. Those
Nice.
tracks all got the break in it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to get we'll get a breaks playlist together. You can dig out some breaks and then put like a few tunes for each track that's used it in, and
Yeah.
we'll do like a breaks walkthrough.
Yeah. It's insane. It's just the way that it makes such a difference though, if you don't have the source material. It's just it was a game changer. It was a game changer. Absolute game changer. I'm not I like I and I feel like I've only really the Digitact is has a step sequencer. So for me, that takes me back to my youth as well, because I don't come from specifically using a door. I come from using a program called by Propellerhead, who actually made Reason, but they also made a precursor to Reason called Rebirth, which is where I made all my grime tracks from, which has like a step sequencer, which is awesome as well. But the Digitact has that same functionality as well, which is why the Digitact is so near and dear to my heart now.
See, it's mad too because that's like again, it's totally on brand for the album. It's like a future piece of kit that's connected to the very start point of your career, like just purely by chance. It's like it's doing the exact same thing that the album's doing, and like all of the kind of theory that we've talked about behind the tracks.
Yes, this is true. I didn't even think of it. Yeah, I didn't even
So I
think of it
mean,
like that.
it's like borderline cosmic. Like the whole thing is like linked front to back.
Back, yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's that
that's the sort of stuff people probably lie about on press releases because they wish it was true. And we ain't
yeah.
even got to bullshit it. Like,
Nah, not like literally the Digitite is literally the future. Like it's literally the evolving drum machine that is constantly being updated and awesome, like amazing updates. It's like now connected to this thing called Loop Masters, um, like sample pack situation online. And the way that I mean, I would have dreamt like this is the kind of like drum machine I would have dreamt of when I was a kid. Like it was it. But that's also what I would have wanted those early like Rebirth to do. It was almost like what I would have wanted it to do back in the day, but now it's there in hardware form. Just amazing. And it will keep evolving. Like this, like since I bought mines, it's gone up by like 200 to 300 quid. Like it's crazy.
shit, I was going to buy one when you told me about them about a year ago. I wish I had that. I've missed the boat.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't because they're still producing them. I don't think it will go up crazy. But if
All
they
right.
ever stop, if they ever stop, I can only imagine. Yeah, that is just because so many genres. You can definitely make hip hop on it. You can 100% techno, whatever they love, electron, whatever, or that's there. You can definitely make house on it. I don't really know too many people making house, but then if I was being honest with myself and what I'm going for, obviously jungle as well, but from what I'm going for, as I would love to make like more grime on it, to be honest, and that's really what I bought it for. To be fair,
Nice. Getting back on the grind tip.
Cool.
Well,
yeah.
I'm definitely going to buy one before we put this podcast out, just in case it causes a price spike or whatever. I might get a few of them, and I'll get them on eBay.
You
That's
can
how
only
we-
buy them. You can only buy them from the Purple City website.
yeah, we'll get them on the Bandcamp. That's how we're gonna bankroll the merch. We'll just do a good old fashioned. We'll create the demand and then cut off the supply.
We got to do a Purple City Digitac rap.
That's see, this is where we want to get into with like dumb merch. This is what we need to do next. Just like wrapping kit, wrapping cars. We can do like Fast and Furious style street races in purple. Like we'll just get it on everything. We need to get in the rap game.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Oh
yeah,
man.
on that then, yeah, I was gonna talking about merch and like the album outside of the music. How did we get onto the X-Men flex with this? Because again, I can't really remember. I hate people going, "Oh, it came about organically," but I genuinely can't remember how we got onto the X-Men theme.
Well, you know, one thing that I kind of like, I definitely during the pandemic, I definitely did do a X-Men binge. That did happen. That genuinely happened. That's not just like a thing,
No,
but
same. Like I did the same with my partner,
yeah.
and I think that because I think that was it. We were talking about the '90s cartoon,
hmm
just like unrelatedly, and then I was like, "Oh, there it is, Raves of Future Past, X-Men. We're away, we're sorted." Like,
Yeah. And then I remember, like, I definitely when I went to Paris last year, and I think all the names of the tracks kind of, bar like a couple, they already had really like strong like ties to kind of like a story. And I remember sending you like, I just was writing it on the train, like, you know, like I don't know, like the T4000 situation, like, and like Love All You Squares, as like you will see these tracks, and just sending you like parts of like what I felt like could go along with them as a storyline to kind of like connect it to just a couple of films. It was like films. I was just like doing like film like references,
mm,
right? So it was like what Terminator, Blade Runner, um trying to think, did we get I'm trying to think what else we got in there. Definitely those two were like front runners. I remember that. I remember that. Planet of the Apes, he said love all you squares, like love all you squares. um yeah. These films anyway, kind of dystopian kind of situations, future, whatever. And I feel like that all really ties into the story of X-Men, the whole thing, you know what I mean? And yeah, that I genuinely don't know how we completely, well, I guess the title was the thing. It really, like, you know, you being like, oh, Raves of Future Past. I feel like that really settled it on the X-Men theme and drawing that line. But again, even with, I guess we was on the money anyways, because AI is now, it was already on there. We was already on that idea of
yeah,
AI. Do you know what I mean? Like, and now this last couple of months with ChatGPT, like everyone's just talking about AI consistently, even more so, and with all the Drake and Kanye tracks coming about and all the rest of it, it's just
yeah.
like,
It is wild how much like same with the Digitech thing and the breaks thing. Like so many elements of this project have literally just fallen into place for us.
yeah,
Like we haven't actually had to do any work. Everything's just much like AI. It's just written itself. Like the whole thing is, to me, it feels like the whole project has kind of put itself together, and
mhm.
we've just stood there and gone, "Oh yeah, that'll work." Like,
Yeah, that does that, and but that's it. That's even back to what we were saying about kind of not forcing things and letting things, like, it is kind of like airy fairy to say, but like, you know, just let it naturally come together. The universe like delivers the exact concepts, the exact equipment, the samples. Again, I could have found out about this Don't Scandalize Mine and the computer music, the computer music sample CD at any given time during my music career. I've been around for 20 years now, but I happened to find out about it, like, you know, at that very specific time, which has led to this. Like, so yeah, I feel like there's a big part of kind of we're being, definitely the breadcrumbs are being there, and we're kind of like just following and being led down this path, and it feels good. It's
yeah,
just
and same like on the merch side, like the action figure which we're doing,
hmm
like that's something I've had in my head just as a ridiculous thing that could never happen. And then I was talking to Sergeant Pokes, shout out Sarge, bloody love the Sarge. I was talking to him about Warhammer because that's something me and him both are fans of. And he just mentioned that he like makes his own models and has a 3D printer. Like just because we were talking about Warhammer and like tabletop board games, which again, totally unrelated to this project or thematically. And then I was like, so hypothetically, could you do like a print of a thing? And he was like, yeah, he was like, I've got like models of, I've got like stuff that I've done. And then I was like, could you do like figures like X-Men and stuff? And he was like, yeah, they exist. And I was like, really? And just everything was there for us, like in some way. And like he's just got the knowledge of that world. And again, didn't have to make any effort. And he was like, well up for it. And it was just like another thing that just was a crazy idea. And then just someone arrived cosmically and said, I can sort that for you. And it was just like another one.
Yeah, love a layer to this. I can't wait for the merch to see some merch and get it. But the cap is definitely a big one. That's, I mean,
Oh yeah, the 5 panel.
five panel and big story. Like, you know, I only wear a 5 panel. It's mad. Oh, I told you guys, I wear a 5 panel because back in the day, listening to jungle music and going to jungle raves, like there was two things. There was like the designer, like D&G, like Iceberg, and all these kind of brands, whatever. They would always make 5 panel caps. That was just the design, the style that they would have back in the day. And then, funny enough, like Gap made this very basic like 5 panel cap. I think it was like 12 quid back in the day. Like, so it was obviously very mad affordable for me as a kid, and loads of like other kids in the area would wear these 5 panel caps as well. So this Gap cap became my cap to a degree. And then yeah, just been trying to like, I mean, every 5 panel cap I've ever had since then, I'm always just searching for that original 5 panel Gap cap because they changed it like back in the 90s. They actually changed it. So I still never had one that fits as great or as good as that one. But that being said, it's been a signature since the 90s.
How many 5 panels do you own?
I don't even know. That's the craziest part. Like,
where do you store them? Like, is there like a 5 panel room in the house, or?
No, not. Do you know what? One day there will be like one day, because I still to this day haven't seen all my records in one place or all my 5 panels in one place, like literally like that. So I've still got a storage unit, like whatever. So one day I will have all the 5 panels and all the my vinyl in one place and space. So I've got to make the money to do so. But that being said, currently the 5 panels, most of the 5 panels in the same place where my vinyls, they're just in storage and in suitcases. Like literally, I've got like, yeah, I don't even know how many, and I don't worn like as well. Like, yeah, I should just buy 5 panel caps, like just for the. And half the time when you see me wearing a 5 panel cap, it's because it's the latest one that I probably got. That I like that I don't.
Bought that day, yeah.
Yeah, like yeah. So it's like, oh, because like this, that even this. I mean, this is not 5 panel, but this is Maharishi. But I would, yeah, whatever. I'm just like, I just keep buying. Like, yeah, just like I collect records, I collect 5 panel caps. Sometimes they're in colors and stuff that I wouldn't even wear, to be honest with you. Got really like, yeah, I got a really, really, really loud. I think it's like a Norse Project one. Like it's just multicolored. Like, yeah, I have to find the occasion to wear it, but like, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, you should do like do you know the Terracotta Army, the historical Chinese, like
yeah.
You should just try and get access and just put a 5 panel on each one and just lay out all of them in like maybe in like a Pantone swatch style.
Yeah,
where you like awesome. That's like when you retire at the end of it all, it's like you can hand the keys to the container to the kids over and be like, it's your retirement present, and it's just like vinyl and 5 panels. Just like, there you go, you're done. That's your inheritance.
Vinyl 5. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, they'll probably be worth a fair bit.
I was gonna say, yeah, the vinyl's probably a good. Yeah, it's probably a good investment. That you probably get. What's the resale market on 5 panels like? Is it like Jordan's? Are there people that cover 5 panels, or is it literally just you?
I have no idea. There probably is a whole community out there living and breathing and doing everything around 5 panels, but I have absolutely no idea. Also have no interest because I'm not selling any, just like my vinyl.
Well, we're gonna be selling some. We're absolutely
this is true.
We're gonna be selling the living shit out of them.
Yeah. I think there's a good like, I always think about it, like I think of all the pictures that I've had over all the years, all the touring, all the rest of it. Just imagine if I had a Raves of Future Past one. I mean, in some of the cooler places that I've been, like, yeah, sometimes I look back at those pictures and I'm like, I didn't necessarily think about the 5 panel. I wear pretty much blank 5 panels anyways, which is still a rare find if you've got a blank 5 panel. Well, and yeah, so that in itself is like a big thing to kind of like now be able to wear. Well, now be able to wear something that like actually means something to me and what I'm doing and what I'm presenting to the world. So I look forward to that. That like actually, to be fair, like probably at Base Coast in July when I go to Base Coast in Canada in July, I'll hopefully have a 5 panel to wear there. And
Oh yeah, we'll be rocking them by then.
yeah, and those pictures will be pretty awesome. I think I will. Do you know what? Did I wear a? I did wear. Do you know what? Crazy enough, I did wear a Purple City t-shirt at that festival.
Oh, which one? Did you have the Nigella on?
I had the Nigella one on,
Of course you did.
but the only thing is, because I wore the Nigella one to Carnival, crazy Nottingham
Mm.
Carnival last year. I wore the Nigella one to Nottingham Carnival, but I didn't actually get to like wear the Nigella one out because I had the Kith Curb Your Enthusiasm Larry David freaking jumper on top, but it wasn't warm enough for me to wear the tee only.
Yeah.
London weather fucking us again.
Yeah. So next time it's like I'm gonna have to bear for a little bit and be like, just take a picture of me while I'm wearing this. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna send you a Base Coast fully corporately branded. You're gonna be like
Ready to go. Ready to go. Ready to go.
Purple City, man.
slap. It's gonna be like a NASCAR car, just like covered in sponsorship stickers and.
I'm ready and I'm here for it, man. Yeah, the 5 panel caps near and dear to the heart. Yeah, and can't wait for everyone to see those 5 panel caps and
It'd be cool for us too, because I've always wanted to do a hat, but like I don't really wear a massive amount. Like I wear like trucker caps, which I know no one wears.
Mhm.
And I just like, yeah, it's like the reason has never come about to do them. So it was nice when you were like, yeah, we can do a tee, but then it was like you were like, really like hats, and I was like, sick. I was like, never really done one of them. Let's roll. It's a nice other thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think see, like that's the thing about teas as well. Is like teas, everyone will love a tea. I mean, and that's probably the reason why teas are probably better. But like, I also think like you're talking to the right audience for you when you go a little bit niche. Like,
Yeah.
Mm.
And also, as an older crew, we're all going a bit bald, so people are getting
100%.
more interested in hats as their hairlines retreat. Everyone's like, maybe I do like 5 panels.
5 panels of shit, like yeah, and it's gonna say Raves of Future Past on it, like which I think
Yeah.
is the sickest thing possible. It's just a sick like people are like, wait, what's that? Like, yeah, nah, that's hard.
Everyone can get involved. All right, let's wrap it up. Who's the best X-Man or X-woman?
X-Man, X-woman. I mean, I like Rogue.
Yeah, so what, film Rogue or cartoon Rogue? Because the film one's a bit
Cartoon
rubbish.
Cartoon
She's a
Rogue.
bit limp. Yeah, cartoon Rogue's awesome.
Cartoon Rogue, of course.
I'm about it.
Yeah, yeah, and I always thought that I mean, it sucks because obviously she can't do nothing with no one, but but I think that's a good power to have in it. You just keep yourself to yourself, innit? And fucks it up.
my X-Men mutation is I'm just a bit of a hermit.
Yeah, like I don't want to be around everybody. Yourself. No?
I mean, that is like the music producer X-Man. My special powers are just sit in a little room, don't really talk to anyone.
I don't interact with anybody. Keep myself to myself. Like, yeah, that's it. You know,
No, mate, he's not an X-Man, but the best X-Man is Master Mold. You know my love of Master Mold. The laziest character ever designed. Yeah, he's just a big one that shits out little ones. Sits on a chair, whatever.
Legend.
Yeah, great man. Like
absolute legend. Bare one-liners as well. Bare one.
Yeah, pretty much my X-Man power, if I had one. Yeah, what does he do? He just sits on a chair and spits out one-liners at people. Yeah, cool. I'm about it.
No, if we're talking about film X-Men, then it's got to be Blade. The Blood Rave lives in my brain head rent free. It's just it's the best thing that's ever happened. It's true cinema masterpiece, and yeah.
Mate, you're gonna get Marvel fans be like, actually, Blade is not an X-Men IP. He was separate and brought in. I don't know.
I'll have you know that Blade is a Marvel character. So yeah, get out of the comments.
Yeah, exactly. Don't DM us. We're not interested.
Yeah, we're not interested.
My special power is sitting on a chair. Yours is sitting indoors. We're not interested.
Oh man.
Right. Let's get the fuck out of here because I need to put a pork shoulder back in the oven.
Likewise, got to do some work. All
Yeah,
right.
I've got to not put a pork shoulder in the oven. But nice one, gang.
Wasted
All
your
right.
Sunday.
Pleasure.
Right, man.
Pleasure.
Big love. Right, top work, everyone.
Take
All
it
right.
easy.
Catch you in a
Bye.
bit. Bye.
Bye bye.